believe Bluey is just a wholesome cartoon about cute dogs and backyard adventures? Think again. Beneath the laughs and life lessons lies a heartbreaking secret the show never talks about. One that changes everything we thought we knew about the Healer family. It's subtle, it's silent, but once you notice it, you can't unsee it.
Come on, Bluey, roll over.
This is the mystery behind Chilli's mom, and why her absence might be the most emotional story Bluey has ever told. So, without further ado, let's break it down. Bluey is most commonly linked with its bright colors, its sweetness, and its emotionally rich themes. But all hidden beneath the surface of the fun and the laughter, longtime viewers have been left with a nagging question for some time now. What really happened to Chilli's mother? We've seen Bandit's parents a few times throughout the series, Nana with her signature sass, and Grandpa Mort, who has a tendency to show a touching element of vulnerability. They're well-developed, fully fleshed-out characters in their own right. But when it comes to Chilli's family, there is a haunted silence. There are no family photos, no throwaway anecdotes, and no charming flashbacks that warm the tale. She's as if she never existed. And that deafening silence? It says volumes more than words ever could. And then comes Season 3's Dragon. On the surface, it's just another fun episode where the kids go on an imaginative quest. But the backdrop? It's Mother's Day. And just when you think it's gonna stay lighthearted, boom, a single line, a quiet, fleeting moment, and it confirms what fans have whispered about for years. The Dragon episode subtly invites us to consider how Chilli became the mom she is today. Strong, gentle, wise, and maybe, just maybe, shaped by the loss of her own mother. And here's the part that blew my mind. There are hints. This was planted as early as Season 1. Yup, go back. Watch Baby Race. The signs are there. You're going to be shocked when you start seeing it for yourself. The Dragon episode aired on Mother's Day, and it's no coincidence. The story begins innocently enough, as Bluey struggles with a creative project. This triggers a flashback to young Chilli, around 7 years old, sitting frustrated in her room with a half-finished drawing. Behind her, a gentle, calming voice encourages her to keep going. You're right, it isn't perfect, but it's pretty good for a 7-year-old. Keep practicing, you'll get better. Just don't ever give up, Chilli. It's the first and only time we see Chilli's mother. She isn't named. We don't see her for more than a few seconds, but in that short moment, her presence is everything. Later, Bluey notices the drawing and innocently asks, "Who's that?" Chilli replies, "That's my mom, your grandma." Bluey smiles. "Wow, she's beautiful." And Chilli softly says, "Yeah, she was. It's that one word, was, that confirms it. Chilli's mom is no longer alive." It's the kind of moment that Bluey handles so gracefully. Quiet, respectful, but emotionally devastating for anyone paying attention. And the fact that Bluey never met her grandmother raises even more questions. How long ago did she pass? Why is she never spoken about? Why do we see such an intentional absence around her memory? Fans have pieced together fragments of episodes, flashbacks, and emotional cues to form two main theories about when Chilli's mom may have died. Both are supported by compelling evidence, and both suggest very different emotional journeys for Chilli. Theory 1. Childhood tragedy. When Chilli was 7 to 10 years old. This theory suggests that Chilli lost her mother during her early childhood, possibly not long after the events shown in Dragon. In Dragon, Chilli's mom is alive when Chilli is around 7 years old, lovingly helping her through a tough moment. In Fairy Tale, Bandit recalls a childhood holiday where Chilli was present, but she has no memory of it. Bandit insists it happened. However, Chilli brushes it off. Could this be a sign of trauma-related memory repression? Psychologists note that children who experience early grief often block out entire periods of their lives as a coping mechanism. In Camping, Grandpa Mort tells Chilli, "You're the last of the old cattle dogs." A simple line, but loaded with meaning. It suggests that Chilli is the final link in her family line, possibly because her mother and others are no longer around. If this theory is true, it means Chilli had to grow up without her mother during her developmental years. It may also explain her deep empathy, patience, and desire to build a warm, communicative household, a kind of family she had to imagine rather than remember. Theory 2. Adult tragedy, just before Bluey's birth. The second timeline suggests that Chilli's mother died when Chilli was already an adult, possibly shortly before she had Bluey. In Baby Race, Chilli is shown navigating the challenges of new motherhood almost entirely on her own. She reads books, talks to friends, and leans on Bandit's mother, but never once does she reference asking her own mom for advice.
Welcome to the show.
In the show, a pretend play turns serious when a balloon pops during a fake pregnancy scene. Joe Broom confirmed that this symbolizes a miscarriage. Some fans theorize that the loss of a pregnancy may have coincided with or been compounded by the death of Chilli's mother. In Onisis, we meet Brandy, Chilli's sister, for the first time. Their reunion is emotional and awkward. Brandy struggles being around the kids and later confesses, "It's just hard." If their mother died shortly before Bluey was born, Brandy may associate Chilli's young family with everything they lost and everything she, due to infertility, cannot have. This theory paints a picture of recent grief. Chilli, newly pregnant or caring for an infant, may have lost the one person she wanted most at her side. It explains her emotional restraint, her protectiveness, and her tendency to push down pain until it can be managed on her own terms. While the show avoids stating a cause of death, fans have picked up on visual themes and emotional cues that hint at 3 likely causes. In the Dragon episode, the only visual we get of Chilli's mom shows her on horseback. The final scene shows a magical winged horse flying into the sky, possibly symbolizing her passing into the afterlife. Horses are tied closely to Chilli's childhood. In Escape, she mentions a love for horses. And in Cafe, she shares a story about visiting a horse stable. This could mean that Chilli's mother may have died in a horse riding accident, which would explain both the symbolism and Chilli's emotional connection to horses. It also adds a tragic dimension to a beloved childhood memory. In the Army, Rusty's dad is deployed overseas, and his absence weighs heavily on Rusty. Australia has a long tradition of military service, and some fans theorize that Chilli's mother may have died while serving her country. Military deaths are often surrounded by formality and silence, especially when the emotions are too raw or complicated for children. Therefore, if Grandma Cattle was a soldier or involved in defense work, her death may have been sudden, tragic, and largely unspoken of in the household, especially to spare the young ones. Chilli shows heightened concern about health in episodes like Granddad, where she pushes Mort to take his medications and rest. In Onisis, the line, "It's not meant to be," may point to a medical struggle or loss tied to family trauma. The show's handling of grief and loss often reflects real-life experiences. Many viewers have related to the idea of losing a loved one to an illness they couldn't control. A sudden illness like a heart attack, cancer, or undiagnosed condition might have taken Chilli's mother unexpectedly. And that sense of helplessness still informs how Chilli approaches life, health, and her own family's well-being. Even though Grandma Cattle is never seen again, her influence and her absence is deeply felt. Chilli often tells her girls, "Just keep trying. You'll get better. Don't give up." These phrases mirror her mother's words in Dragon, suggesting that Chilli has internalized that last moment of love and turned it into a guiding philosophy for her own motherhood. She also shows incredible empathy, often giving Bluey and Bingo space to explore their emotions without judgment, perhaps because she knows what it's like to grieve silently. Brandy's rare appearance reveals a woman filled with grief, longing, and perhaps jealousy. The sisters clearly love each other, but a wall of shared trauma separates them. Brandy's infertility only deepens the divide, as Chilli represents both what they lost and what Brandy can never have. Yet by the end of Onzies, there's a hint of healing as a first step toward reconnecting. In earlier seasons, there are no photos of Grandma Cattle in the healer house, but by season 3, that begins to change. In Dragon, the drawing of her appears framed. Chilli talks about her, even if only briefly. And Chilli's reunion with Brandy suggests that the family is finally beginning to address the pain of the past, one step at a time. Bluey isn't the kind of show that hands out clear answers, and that's exactly what makes it so special. In real life, children often deal with loss that isn't explained or is only partially understood. Bluey reflects this with compassion and honesty. By leaving Grandma Cattle's story vague, the show allows every viewer to find their own connection. Whether you've lost a parent, never met a grandparent, or simply fear that day, this silence can say more than words ever could. As creator Joe Brum said, Chilli was on her own. Mom wasn't around. She's charting her own course as a mom. That's the essence of Bluey. Finding joy, strength, and meaning, even when a piece of your heart is missing. Chilli's mom may be gone, but her impact echoes through every hug, every lesson, and every moment of kindness Chilli gives her daughters. Bluey doesn't need to show us everything. Sometimes the saddest stories are told in whispers, in what's missing, not what's shown. In that way, Grandma Cattle becomes not just a part of Chilli's past, but a living presence in the love she passes down to Bluey and Bingo. Her story reminds us that even in absence, love remains. And that's a message as powerful as any episode. What do you think happened? Do you think Chilli lost her mother as a child or as an adult? Was it an accident, an illness, or something left unspoken? Drop your theories in the comments below and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Let's talk!